Underfunded and underrated. Fuck the industry, I'm so jaded. Can't be sure, but I think I made it.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Awkward Situations, the series where you guys write comments about awkward situations that are happening in your lives, that have happened in your lives, embarrassing stories, or anything else you want to talk about in the comment section below. And then I take a few of those comments and I talk about them in this series. So at the start of this video, I'd like to talk about Call of Duty World War II and my thoughts about the game and content from the game, which I know is something not all of you will be interested in. I'll put something on the screen designating when actual Awkward Situations content starts, and the description always has timestamped information so you can skip around between topics. So you can use one of those two resources to get to the part in the video that you want to get to if you don't care about Call of Duty World War II talking stuff. Because that's what I want to do at the start. I don't know if I'm going to make a general commentary about my feelings on COD World War II. I don't know if it's something people would care about, and I don't know if it's something I care enough to talk about in its own video. But I'd like to get a couple of things off my chest in this video and just get my thoughts out there into the world. I've been anticipating this Call of Duty for a while. It's my most hyped Call of Duty, the most hype I've been about a Call of Duty since Black Ops 3, because I believe Treyarch makes the best Call of Duty games, so obviously I was going to be excited about Black Ops 3. Obviously there wasn't a lot of content from Black Ops 3 on this channel, definitely not as much as Black Ops 2, which was a peak in my channel, I would say, statistically. I'll get to the content side of things maybe at the end, but Call of Duty World War II, I knew I was going to be interested in it from playing the betas and getting away from the advanced movement jetpack type of thing that I'm just not super interested in the multiplayer. It adds another dimension to the game, but at the same time, I'm happy to have boots on the ground again, which has been a big part of the marketing campaign for Call of Duty World War II. Definitely, unless I'm forgetting something, the shakiest launch in terms of multiplayer servers for any Call of Duty. And I think they deserve criticism for that. I've voiced my frustrations on Twitter. However, I think after a couple of patches, and I've seen a lot of pro players say this too, this can be one of the best Call of Duties. And there is no incentive for me to say that. I got on one of those Twitter moments things where you like swipe through a bunch of tweets about a specific topic, and it was me just saying that I really loved Call of Duty. I was having fun playing the campaign and zombies and multiplayer. And I tweeted that on November 2nd before the game actually launched because I got the game early. Activision sent it to me. Thank you, Activision. Hashtag ad, hashtag sellout. And there weren't any issues on November 2nd when just people who had the game early and New Zealand dudes were playing and dudettes. But on November 3rd and after, there were a lot of issues. So a lot of people are quoting my tweet saying, this guy's a moron, there's been a bunch of issues and stuff like that, and he's a COD cocksucker, he has to say this or whatever. Not a bunch of people. I mean, it's maybe just like 2 or 3 people. So I highlight all the negative things in my mind. A lot of people were agreeing with me that they really like the game, but I have no incentive to like this game. The incentive would be that I could go to capture events. I guess I shouldn't say I have no incentive, because if I want to go to fly places and not pay for it and get hotel rooms and not pay for it and play a video game, which I'm very lucky to do for a living, that is an incentive. So maybe I'll backtrack on what I would say, but I don't get paid to say it. So I guess, I don't know, that's one form of payment, is to be cool with a video game company. But if I don't like a Call of Duty game, I'm pretty honest with you guys and pretty honest with my audience. And I think that's the only way to be, to voice my opinion about things. And if I don't feel like I can make content from a game, I'm not going to post it on my channel. And honestly, I don't know how much content I can make from this game. I'm playing through the campaign. I really, really like the campaign. And I like zombies. I was posting zombies videos from Black Ops 3 with my friends last spring and summer. I mean, this spring and summer in 2017. And the content went over well. It wasn't watched by a ton of people, but the people who did watched it for a long time. That's a big part of the YouTube algorithm now, watch time. So I could do zombie stuff, even though I'm not particularly good at zombies. But the old days of my friends and I making multiplayer content might not exist anymore. People probably put us in the box of Call of Duty channels, but I think we were really Xbox Live channels. The farther I get away from it and the more I think about it. And Call of Duty was just the best place to get Xbox Live reactions from people. You would meet the weirdest characters in Call of Duty lobbies. And if we had made our channels 2 or 3 years earlier. I mean, my friends made their channels earlier than I did, but if the peak of our channels was in 2010 versus 2012, 2013, we would be known as Halo channels because that's where we would be getting the Xbox Live content from. I don't know that that exists anymore, and maybe it does, and I'm just not playing on the right. Maybe I should be playing on Xbox Live instead of PlayStation, which is what I mainly play on because PlayStation gets exclusive content for Call of Duty now, and then a lot of my friends want to play on PC. A lot of my friends don't even want to play Call of Duty at all. I really like this Call of Duty. Even if I'm not making content from the game, I feel I will be playing it for the rest of the year. Some of those same people that were critical of me for praising Call of Duty on Twitter said, yeah, but you won't be playing it in 2 months. That may or may not be the case. I'm playing it now, and I could definitely see myself playing it in 2 months. But in terms of content to post, I post shit from last week clips. I haven't made a shit from last week in a while, but I could see myself making shit from last week stuff just from Fortnite videos and from Call of Duty. But other content, I mean, I make Awkward Situations, and that has Call of Duty gameplay in the background. I don't know if I'm a Call of Duty channel. I really like Call of Duty. I've just been stuck, especially with the last Call of Duties, the last 2 Call of Duties, which I haven't really even been that interested in post-launch. But in general, since Black Ops 2, I've been stuck trying to figure out what type of content to make. And I know a lot of other people that blow up off of the funny moments trend, quote unquote, kind of feel in that same boat. Besides zombie stuff, I think Zombies provides a lot of funny, spontaneous moments that don't rely on people in multiplayer lobbies. It's kind of hard to figure out what type of content to make. I think Merc Music is doing it the best in terms of Call of Duty videos that aren't necessarily about skillful gameplay, although he does do the collat montages and all that stuff. But I don't know. It's kind of an interesting time in terms of making Call of Duty content. But I'm going to finish the campaign. I'm almost done with it. I'm really enjoying it. First time I played a Call of Duty campaign since Black Ops 1, and I'm glad I put the time into it. Definitely going to try to get better at zombies and play more zombies and hopefully find some people to play multiplayer games with. I know some of my friends want to play, not all of my friends want to play, so it's not going to be like the old days. But that's all of my feelings on COD World War II. If you stuck with me through that rant, I appreciate it. Let's get into awkward situations right now. Today's first awkward situation says, awkward situation. Hey Joel, so I'm a freshman in high school and I'm planning on asking someone out. Don't worry, it isn't really dating advice. So I got 3 concert tickets as I want one of my friends to come and I want the girl I'm going to ask out to come. I was too embarrassed to tell my mom I was going to ask her out, as she always jokes about how if I want to date someone I need to dress nicer. I usually wear joggers and one of those long sleeve shirts with a hood. So I asked someone else if they wanted to go that most likely can't go. If both of my friends can't go, then I don't know how to tell them I don't want them to come. If neither can go, then I have to explain to my mom why I made her buy an extra ticket. Now I'm stuck and I don't know if I should just wait until after the concert to ask her out or just start our relationship good with a concert. Anything helps. Thanks. So I mostly chose this situation because it relates to my own life. And by the way, a lot of these awkward situations are more high school aged awkward situations, I guess, that I had been putting off the last couple of weeks because I wasn't in the mood to talk about, I guess, younger age situations, but we'll knock out a few of them today. And I've had a experience like this before. I find that I cannot relate to a lot of awkward situations that I see, but and a lot of them aren't even awkward situations. They're just difficult or life situations in the comments. But this one I can relate to because I had the exact same experience almost, except I was a freshman in college. I guess it wasn't the exact same. It was just my relationship could have ended on a concert. And I'm sure some of you have heard this before. So I'm sorry if you've been around the channel for a while and you've heard this story before, but right after Megan and I started dating, my friend and I, who also had a girlfriend at the time who is not his girlfriend anymore, we're both married now. I'm married to Megan, who should have broke up with me for this, honestly, and he's married to another woman. My friend and I decided to get concert tickets to an Eminem and Jay-Z concert that was happening in 2009. They were calling it the Home and Home tour, I believe, because they did 2 shows in New York for Jay-Z and 2 shows in Detroit for Eminem, one at Yankee Stadium and or 2 of them at Yankee Stadium and 2 of them at Comerica Park in Detroit, because that's how many seats Eminem and Jay-Z need if they're going to do concerts in their hometowns. A lot of people want to go to those concerts, and Eminem rarely does concerts. I know Jay-Z's on a tour right now, and I hopefully am going to get to go to that tour in a week or 2. Because he's going to be in Detroit. So hopefully I get to see him, but whatever. We were going to go see him and we both got 2 tickets each. One for myself and Megan, my brand new girlfriend, who I'd been dating for a week at the time, I think, and one for my friend and his girlfriend. So actually, when I got the tickets, had Megan and I think, yeah, we'd been dating for a week. So the concert was about a month out. I'm getting the timeline all mixed up in my head now. This was coming on 10 years ago. But like a week out from the concert, maybe even a couple of days out from the concert, my friend calls me frantically, nearly crying, says he lost his 2 tickets and he doesn't know what to do. I tell him to keep looking. It gets to be the day of the concert, still can't find his tickets. So I don't even remember how I came to this decision. Don't remember how I told Megan. And it was on her birthday, by the way, or the day before her birthday, sometime around her birthday. I told Megan she can't come to the concert with me. I'm taking my friend, who I've been friends with for a very long time, which may have been a rational decision at the time because it was not the right decision because it's not my fault he lost the tickets. And by the way, he found them like a month later, and he texted me and he said, I found the tickets. And I thought to myself, I wish you never would have told me that you found the tickets. But at the time, I guess I rationalized it as, this is an awesome girl who I love to be dating, but I don't know if I'm going to marry her. We just met in college and we've been dating for a couple of weeks or whatever. And this is my friend who I've had for a long time in my life. So I had my dad drive Megan home on her birthday, and I went to this concert in Detroit with my longtime friend. And we had a good time, but I felt like shit about it afterwards, and I actually still feel like shit about it. One of the worst things I've ever done to Megan in our relationship, and it's very nice that she did not break up with me for doing that. There's kind of a happy ending in that Eminem had another concert at Comerica Park a few years later with Rihanna, and I took Megan and my brother and sister to that concert, and that was a fun time. So I got to make up for that. What I would say is that you can't go back in time and just be honest with your mom. I guess I don't understand the relationship between you and your mom. I don't know why you can't just tell your mom that you want to date a girl. She doesn't want you to date someone because of how you dress. Do parents understand how kids dress in each generation? My grandmother probably had her mother insulting the way she dressed in the 50s because my great-grandmother came from the Depression generation and the World War II generation, or maybe she would have been World War I. I'm not sure how much older my great-grandmother was than my current grandmother. But she probably insulted the way she dressed in the 50s, malt shop era. And my grandmother probably insulted the way my mother... Actually, I know my grandmother insulted the way my mother dressed in the 80s because when we'll flip through photo albums, my grandmother, who was hilarious, will say, God, look at how terrible your hair was, and all this stuff to my mother, who just rolls her eyes. And I'm sure my mother didn't like how I dressed. I know that a lot of my friends, there was this trend when Eminem was huge in the early 2000s where all of my friends were putting like blonde spikes in our hair. So I would put like blonde streaks in my hair. And Justin Timberlake also did this when NSYNC was huge. And we would get this thing called Sun In, was the spray. It smelled like lemon pine sol, and you would spray it in your hair. And then you would just dry it with a hairdryer. This had to be terrible for your hair. And it looked awful, but all of my friends were doing it, so I begged my parents to let me do it, and they let me do it and probably thought it looked so stupid. So I don't know why that would prevent you from... I guess maybe there's something deeper in your relationship, like you have a more torn relationship with your mother, but I would just be honest with your mom. You kind of lied about something, and now you're trying to build a lie on top of a lie, and it just is all going to topple over. So if you could find a way to get out of this honestly, I would go with that. And in terms of asking your girlfriend out on a date, I think everyone thinks it has to be perfect when you ask your girlfriend out. I was going to ask Megan out at this fountain, and then I got too excited before we got to the fountain, and when we were walking out of our dorm, I was like, will you go out with me, please? I want you to be my girlfriend. It was kind of the same for, I've told you guys all how we got engaged before, but I don't know, I get too excited and nervous before the moment. It doesn't have to be perfect, so I think you're just overthinking it, and hopefully you can find an honest way out of this situation. Next awkward situation says, hey Joel, so I'm a junior in high school, and me and my girlfriend of about 6 months went to our homecoming dance. She's all into dances, and I have never been to a dance before, so it got really awkward for us both because she wanted to do everything on the dance floor, and I didn't know what to do. So like halfway through, she pulled me aside and we talked about how this was awkward for us both. So I decided that because I was ruining this for her, in parentheses, she's been looking forward to this dance for a long time, I decided I would just go home, and she promised she would just hang out with her girlfriends. As I go home, I hear she was dancing with another guy who she told me not to worry about and later told me it was nothing, even though my friends tell me the opposite. How do I even approach this situation, and should I have left knowing there was a possibility of this like this so nobody sees this? I need help. I just want to state for the record that this post got 1 like, and I still saw it because I read all the comments, so you don't have to say like so Joel sees this or whatever. Let's start with the last part first. How do I even approach this situation, and should I have left knowing there was a possibility of this? Should I have left knowing there was a possibility of this? That makes me think, if you knew there was a possibility of her dancing with other guys, that you don't have a lot of trust in this relationship, which is normal in a high school relationship because of all of the social factors of your friends pressuring you and her friends pressuring her, and you're in high school, and relationships past high school don't tend to last, especially in this day and age. I'd love to see a statistical analysis of high school relationships that led to marriages in the 1950s up to the 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe even to today, because I would assume that even less high school couples get married nowadays, just considering the fact that it's easier to connect with people via social media and dating apps. I could see how a lot of high school relationships would not last in this generation versus previous generations. So you clearly already have some trust issues with her, which is not the foundation for a solid relationship. I can know that my relationship with Megan is going to be okay, and she's not going to abuse our trust if she goes out to a bar with her friends or a club. I really don't care if she does that because I trust her, and she would feel the same if I ever left my house. She knows that I'm not cheating on her playing Xbox Live with my friends, so that's nice little security for her. But trust is the foundation of any relationship, so if you want to just break this down, you could have just wrote that last part. And I mean, I guess we don't know if this is going anywhere beyond the fact that you don't know how to do the stanky leg. Sounds like you don't have a lot of trust in your relationship, but maybe I'm reading too far into things. So let's back up a little bit. It was awkward for both of you, and you left, and your friends are saying one thing and she's saying another thing. So this goes back to, you know what? Let's go back to the trust thing. If you had trust in the relationship, it maybe wouldn't matter what your friends are saying because you would be trusting her. You're asking me if you should trust your friends or if you should trust her. Well, in a relationship, I guess it kind of depends. If someone has solid proof of your partner or spouse cheating on you and they're your friend, I guess you should trust your friend for your own safety and for your own sanity. But that goes back to, it all goes back to this last point. So maybe I shouldn't even extrapolate any further. If you don't trust her, you don't trust her, and I don't know how this relationship could go much further besides the fact that you can't do the walk it out. Don't feel bad for not knowing all these dumb dances, all right? You're too cool to dance. Guys are too cool to dance, and it's fine. At my dances, here's the dance that guys knew how to do. Maybe I shouldn't do this with a green screen. Try to stay on screen. So this is the girl, right? And she's backwards, and this is the guy. Cut my head off on the green screen. Yes. Yes, it's a song, and this is simulated sex on the dance floor. Okay. I don't want my kids to see this, so I'm going to stop. We didn't do much dancing. It was just like you had simulated sex on the dance floor, and then slow dances are pretty easy to know how to do, although I also messed those up. So if you're feeling bad about the slow dance, I had a girl stop slow dancing with me in the middle of a slow dance because I kept stepping on her feet because I have giant feet. So either way, don't feel bad about that. If you don't have trust in the relationship, that's the whole problem anyway. Hope you get this figured out. I wasn't very helpful, but I did the thing where I humped my chair. This one's long, so I'm going to skip some parts and try to read through it quickly. My boyfriend and I were having a going-away party because we moved out of state for me to attend grad school. My cousin took my boyfriend's jokes and playfulness that night way too seriously and accused him of flirting with them and being abusive to me. Took it way out of context and made conclusions that are far from true. I was present the whole time, which validates my conclusions. My guy cousin wants nothing but to fight my boyfriend, while one girl cousin hasn't talked to me in 3 months. My other girl cousin never talked to me about it with me and is still in normal contact with me, but I was told she was upset too. I spoke to my grandma, whom I had to convince that I'm not being abused because my cousins didn't want to have a conversation with me, but wanted to just fight my boyfriend and talk to the family. They wanted only to talk to me, but I am basically not even involved in the issue. However, now it seems like they have a problem with me now because I'm not on their side. The holidays are coming up. We always go to my grandma's house. My boyfriend has been coming for years now. Now it's just super awkward. I don't even want to go. It's basically that he can't come, but I can, which I don't agree with. I don't want to talk to my cousins about it because they seem so close-minded, but I love my family and my boyfriend. We've been together for almost 8 years. Not like I'm going to be torn over a random guy. I just don't know how to approach this. My parents are on my side. My grandma believes me, but my cousins are making the holidays seem impossible. Any advice? Thanks a bunch, Alex. I guess I'll do the advice part first and say that if your parents are fine with it and your grandma is fine with it, I think you should go. If there is a high chance of violence, maybe something will have to be worked out where the parents and the grandmother are aware that there is a high chance of violence. Although, in a civilized society, I don't think people should fight other people. And just with the news in general, it makes me sick to think about how violent some human beings can be just for whatever reason. I guess they think they have a reason in this case. But if there is a real chance of a fight happening, I would try to have that worked out with your parents and or grandmother ahead of time, that you want to enjoy the holidays with them. Maybe you come over at a different time. Maybe you stagger the times that you're there and the cousins are there. But in general, I think you guys should all just be able to get together and you don't have to talk to them. They can just be there. You're there as well. You don't have to engage with them if they feel this way. And it's probably a lot worse in your head than it will be in reality. I've been to many family holiday parties in my life. I am becoming an older man, as you can see by my hair falling out. It's not really falling out, but my friend B-Dubs, who has luscious Syrian hair, insulted my hair the other day, and I continue to be jealous of his luscious Syrian hair. I'm getting older. And there actually have been holiday parties where I've been there and I have wanted to fight people. I have thought to myself, I hate this person for very specific reasons that I wouldn't get into on this episode, but I've just been in situations where I have thought, I would love to punch this motherfucker in the face. And I just have to sit. Sometimes you even have to sit next to them. Got to be eating ham and green beans next to this guy that I want to hit your face with my closed fist very fast. You know, I put the green beans in my mouth. I don't even really like green beans. Maybe I want to punch the green beans too. But I don't do that because in a civilized society, you just don't fight people. You can dislike people, but you don't want to dislike them with your fist because then things happen. They have medical bills. You could go to jail. You can ruin your future. I mean, 1 second of satisfaction for a lifetime of problems in some cases. You have to be logical as a human. So hopefully your cousins are logical people. Because if I was your boyfriend and I took injuries for things that I didn't do and things that were taken out of context, I would try to create problems for your cousins who hit me in a legal sense. So hopefully your cousins don't do that and you can work this out with your parents ahead of time. Seems pretty straightforward, but I know the feels of your cousins, and I also probably know the feels of you and your boyfriend, because I'm sure the people that I wanted to punch in the face wanted to punch me back in the face. But we all had a great holiday and opened presents, and it was fun. Christmas is the best. Or Hanukkah, or whatever you guys are doing at your grandma's house. Have fun. Joel, so the other day, my friend and I went to my high school's varsity football homecoming game. Where my school is, there is a Chick-Fil-A right across the street. I am very jealous of you. Where everybody hangs out during/after the game. So me and my friend got together and decided to walk over to Chick-Fil-A to meet a few other friends. When we got there, my one friend was absolutely hammered. He passed out on the sidewalk, and one thing led to another, and I dumped all his vodka, and it got all over me. Being a freshman, I haven't experienced anything like this, and I don't know that this may sound lame, but I'm afraid that I might get into drinking too early because I'm pretty impressionable, and I really don't want to do that. I think that some of my friends will start drinking too. Is there any advice you can give me? Because I don't want to start drinking, but I want to keep my friendships. Help, Joel Daddy. I thought this story was kind of cute because it made me think about the McDonald's that my friends and I used to hang out at after games. If any of you guys are in high school, or, you know, you were in high school, you maybe have a cool gathering place after football games, maybe your local Taco Bell. I'd be interested to hear in the comments where you guys would hang out after games or social events. I know for Megan, there's this bowling alley in her town where a lot of people hang out. It's a pizza place too, though. It's not just a bowling alley. You know, who bowls nowadays? My grandfather was a bowling champion, so I shouldn't insult bowling. There's bowling in my blood. But I don't bowl. The pizza's good at that place. Anyways, I also thought this was cute because I can remember the first time that I was involved with alcohol, and I didn't know it was alcohol. You guys are going to think this is so dumb. But I was at this party in the 8th grade with some of my friends. We were at this boy-girl party, one of the first boy-girl parties I had been to. But it wasn't advertised as a boy-girl party. It was just, I'm with my boys, and we're going to hang out with these girls. I was in the kitchen with some other guys that were there that I didn't necessarily know, cousins of the person's house that it was. And they were drinking out of red Solo cups. They were drinking Coca-Cola, they said. And I like Coca-Cola. They asked me if I wanted some Coke. You know, they were like, you want some Coke? Little 14-year-old bitch. I was like 13 at the... How old are you going in the 8th grade? I was between like 13 to 14. They're like, you want some Coke, little boy? When I was actually their height because I was tall, but they knew I thought it was Coke. And I was like, yeah, I love Coke. So I took a drink of it, and it was... because the Coke was hot in my throat. Turns out the Coke had a lot of alcohol in it. And I, like you, sir, was very scared of alcohol all throughout high school because I don't know why. I just was scared. It is kind of a scary thing. I also was scared of socializing, so to even be at the house in the first place. I think that's the bigger thing. I didn't like socializing more than I didn't like alcohol, and alcohol and socializing go together. But I didn't like that the Coke was warm when I swallowed it. I like my Coke just normal, and now I don't drink Coke at all, and I drink alcohol all the time. So how the turntables, as they say. Anyways, I didn't like that, and I didn't drink throughout all of high school, and I don't have as many close friends from high school as I do from the internet because I didn't like socializing so much in high school and didn't like drinking alcohol so much. So I guess you're going to be like me, or you're going to be not like me, or you're going to be a compromise of me. Being like me would be you just don't go out with your friends when they drink so much, and you have new friends who don't drink as much or at all throughout high school, and you still have a great experience, but you don't have some of those same war stories and close bonds with friends that you grew up with and had a perfectly normal symbiotic existence with before high school. Oh man, that was a big word. So you're not going to share those same experiences if you don't like drinking and they like drinking, and you won't be friends anymore, which happens. You gain and lose friends throughout life, which is sad, but it's also reality. The compromise would be you could be the friend that hangs out with them when they're drinking, but you don't drink. But if drinking becomes their interest and drinking is not your interest, you're going to have a clash of interests. So I'm not saying that it can't happen. I know plenty of friends who didn't drink but went to the parties because they like socializing but didn't like drinking. But I don't know. I also think that if you're worried about drinking, the easiest way, I mean, it's like sex, you know. The easiest way to not get pregnant is to not have sex, you know. You can't just pull out socializing, and, you know, I can't be pulling out every time. You're eventually, I feel like you're going to feel the pressure to drink. That was a weird analogy. I'm sorry. Stay with me. The last one would be, I mean, just you might start drinking eventually. That would be the opposite of what I did. I would say to just try not to let the pressure get to you one way or the other. Do what you want to do, regardless of what your friends want you to do. And I know that is very, very hard advice to listen to, especially in high school, when you feel the most social pressure you will probably ever feel in your life. Past high school, you get a better sense of yourself and what you actually want to do because there's not that social pressure that high school puts on people. I realized that I like drinking after high school. I just still don't really like socializing, but I do like alcohol. I just was afraid of it for whatever reason. So good story, man. I hope that you get it figured out and just do what you want to do regardless of the social pressure. I know it's easier said than done, very much easier said than done. But I hope that you can find a way to compromise and just be you and understand that these things happen throughout high school. Last awkward situation. Howdy there, Joel. I've been watching you for almost 5 years now. But anyway, my situation is my girlfriend and I are at a very serious point in a relationship, and I thought it would be best for me to come out towards her and tell her my religious views. She is very religious, by the way, and I share the same views as you. Anyways, when I told her, she got very mad and threatened to break up with me if I wouldn't change my views. So now for the past couple of weeks, I have lied to her saying that I now believe in God and so on, but every time I go to church with her family, I feel extremely guilty and sad for lying to her about something like this. I just want to know how you would handle this situation. Thanks, Papa Joel. I do want to mention before I talk about the situation that he said he believes his views on religion are the same as my views. And while I don't fault him for saying this, and I don't think it was malicious or anything, I don't necessarily believe my views are the same as his views because my views are extremely complicated, as I'm sure a lot of yours are. Maybe you feel more confident in one belief system or another, but it is the most complicated thing you could probably think about as a human. The meaning for your existence, why we're here, if we're serving someone, who are we serving, all of this crazy stuff. My view is more agnostic, that it's so much to think about. I don't know how I feel about it. I do like going to church. I like the relief that a community and a church provides, and I would love for something like that to be in my children's life, my future children's life, whether it be church or something else, just some communal experience that they can share with other people and learn some sense of morality and good. My sister and my brother and I went to Catholic school for elementary school, and then we went to public schools, and I do value that time at a Catholic school and going to church a lot as a kid. I don't think it had a negative effect on me. I know some people may feel differently with their experiences or whatever, but at this time I'm more agnostic than anything. However, I do believe that there is a reason we're here. I do believe there is a deeper meaning to things than just some stupid accident happening that creates another accident, that all of this stuff. I don't want to fully get into it. That's not what the situation is about, but I just wanted to clarify my feelings on this and say that I do go to church from time to time, and I do enjoy it for, with Megan's family or whatever. In terms of how you feel, this is clearly a big deal to your girlfriend if she's so mad about your religious views that she will break up with you if you feel this way. And I would say that you should just picture 5 to 10 years in the future, picture the best possible scenario for your relationship. Picture everything working out between you guys and you guys getting married, and 5 to 10 years from now, you're still going to church and you're still feeling guilt for being there because you don't like it, or guilt for lying to her about that. Is that what you want the next 5 to 10 years of your life to be? I guess it's hard for you to come to this conclusion because it seems so drastic, but if this is a bridge too far for her, and to get over that bridge, you have to lie to her, I don't think that is the foundation for a solid relationship that will last from now until forever. There's little things in a relationship that you can get by lying about, little white lies, let's say. This is a fake example. This is not a real thing, but maybe Megan makes clam chowder that she really likes. She likes her clam chowder. She thinks she makes it the best, and she makes it every Thursday night. And I do not like the clam chowder so much, but I eat it because I want to make her happy. And it's not the worst thing in the world to eat average clam chowder. If we had different opinions about when to have kids, if we got married under the premise that she wanted to have kids and I didn't want to have kids, but I led her on to believe I did want to have kids, that's a huge fucking problem for the future of our relationship. Same with bigger topics like this, religion, how the kids will be raised. Maybe they're going to go to a Catholic school, which will cost money, by the way, and they will be brought up in a religious household, and you don't necessarily feel religious. Supposed to be the foundation of that household, and you don't, or you're supposed to be the foundation of that religious belief for them with their mother, and you don't feel that way. So think about that. I don't know if I'm taking this too far for you, but if you're asking me for the truth is your relationship is not going to last if the crux of it is that she wants you to be religious and you're not religious. I mean, it's not going to last. So I guess you could just continue to lie and enjoy the other parts of your relationship, or you could just break it off and realize it's not going to be the future. And it's not the worst thing in the world if you're dating someone that you know you don't have a future with. People don't always get married. Some people will date well into their 50s, 60s, and they just never want to be married for whatever reason, we want companionship in this world, even if that companionship doesn't have a marriage anywhere in the distance. So I don't know what you want, and I can't create whatever you want in my own head. But I would just say that on these big topics in life, children, family, religion, any other types of big topics you can name that you could think of, even middle topics, like the small stuff like the clam chowder, you can lie about that. But those big topics, you have to be, if not the same political views, you don't have to have the same political views, but you have to be understanding of your partner's political views and know that going into a relationship with them. If the partner says, we're breaking up if we don't have the same political views, well, then I guess we're breaking up. Hope you can get it figured out. Sorry, that wasn't a very happy note to end awkward situations on, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Keep those awkward situations coming. I have a pretty empty awkward situations folder that I would love to put some awkward situations in. Thanks to everyone who comments and watches this video on a weekly basis or whenever it comes out. Until next time, see you guys.
Even my accountant creative, gotta watch my back. Life's dangerous, never thought I'd rap. Life changes, who'da thought a kid like me would've been